Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this Hanna Karlzon series. I'm just trying to straighten my picture a little bit, there we go. From her seasons book, these are the summer items. We have this really pretty flower to do today, so I'm just having a think about colours. I quite fancy doing it in blue. I don't do blue flowers very often, so I think that might be fun to do. I'm actually going to start with a really pale blue for the petals, the sky blue, using our Polychromos, and I'm just going to colour all of the petal area in a fairly even covering of the sky blue pencil. It's not going to be, you know, perfectly perfect, but it's just to get me going really, get a layer down and help me to think about the shape. So we've got this centre part, which I've got an idea for as well. But what we need to do is these bits are obviously sticking out from the petals, so we need to emphasise that a little bit with some darker colouring. And the shape of these petals too, we need to think about. But that should be fairly straightforward. The reason I've started with such a pale colour is because I want to show a big contrast in the to help emphasise the shape, and we can use our darker colours to do that. I can hear my washing machine, it's really loud. I don't think you'll be able to hear it. But yeah, it's washing morning this morning. I've started videoing quite early. My husband hasn't even left for work, but he doesn't normally chat to me too much in the mornings. He's usually getting on with different bits and pieces before he leaves, or watching some videos or something. So I thought I would come and get on because I need to get this series finished so I can get the compilation video out for my members on day one. I try and do that to reward my paying members on my YouTube channel. They will get a compilation of this, so it means they get basically early access to all the videos in the series, so they can colour along early if they want to. It's just a sort of thank you for the membership type thing. Right, so there is my basic flower. Now some people would leave it there, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you haven't got time or you like to keep things really simple, that's absolutely the way to go. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add a few more layers. I'm going to go for the ultramarine next. Now this isn't what I would consider an ultramarine. In Castle Arts, for example, the ultramarine is really dark. This one isn't that dark. But it is darker, so it's going to work for us. Now in this centre here I want a lot of dark colour, so I'm going to go in between these with a darker colour and sort of fade it out from the centre. I'm trying to work out, I think that's blue. This might look a little odd, we'll be adding another colour, another in-betweeny colour. I'm going to use the light ultramarine to blend it through in a minute, probably a bit longer than a minute. Oh, I didn't colour that bit. Okay, so that is our sort of centre, but now I want to look along each petal, and I'm thinking where they overlap here, there'd be some shadow. Be a little bit darker there, and here look, can you see how this looks like it's a fold in the petal? So we can put a darker bit over there and there, and also along this line in this bit here and along there. I think I'm going to take that through to the centre. This one's, there we go. You can see how that gives the petals already looking like it's got a bit more shape compared to this one. Although it's drawn with shape, it's not been emphasised by the colour. So we'll do that now. Excuse me. You have to look at this line and think, is it going to go above or below? I'm not really sure, so I'm going to put it underneath. With this one we can look at the shape here. I'm thinking here and here, and then I think I'll put that one above as well, so it sort of works with it. And this one I think above, although I've gone below there by mistake, and I'm thinking this one is below. And this one is sort of, I'm going to put it right in between those two bits. Now here they overlap, so we can see our shadow would go in there, and that's underneath. It's just about getting to grips with the artist's style and thinking about what they're trying to achieve from their lines. And it comes with practice, and you'll find different artists do it in a slightly different way, different illustrators, I mean, you know, in different books. Some of them won't mark it at all, and you can choose to put them in, and some of them will make it really obvious. Let's take that one through to the centre. Okay, so now if you look now at the flower, you can see it's got a little bit more texture in the petals. Okay, now I've got my light ultramarine, and we're going to just blend it through. You can't see the name, it's very small. So I'm going to start here at the middle where I've made it darker. I'm just going to take it out a little bit, maybe around the edges of these little things, what are they? Seed pods? No, pollinators, stamens, I don't know. Oh, had a nice walk last night along the canal. I'd been really busy all day, which was good, productive, I say. Right, on these I'm going to put a bit on each edge, like that. Maybe not on this one. Yeah, so I hadn't gone out for a walk, and I'm trying to, since my birthday, I've decided that I want to start making sure I exercise a bit more, and I've decided that I just had my 50th, and I want to be, well, I say just, it was ages ago, but anyway, I had my 50th. I decided I wanted to be fitter when I was 60 than I was when I was 50, so as part of that, I've got to start doing my yoga again, which I haven't been doing. I haven't done that yet. But having more walks, walking every day was my sort of aim. So I haven't managed it every day, but sort of 6 days a week. So yesterday I hadn't had one. So my husband rang to say he was on his way home and did I need any shopping? And I was like, yes, but would you like to come home and walk with me down to the local supermarket along the canal? And he was like, oh yeah. So he came in from work, and we straight away had a nice walk, and it was evening, so it's cooler because it's been getting a little bit warm, quite warm yesterday in the house at least. I actually put a jacket on because it was getting cooler, and well, a hoodie. We walked along the canal path, and I said to him, can we walk down this little bit along the river? The canal and river run parallel at that particular point. And he was like, oh, it's lots of stinging nettles. I was like, go on, it's a bit different and it's dry. It's really become a very muddy path, so I thought it would be fun to go along there while it was dry before we get rainy weather again. And so we went along there, and we saw Mr. and Mrs. Mandarin Duck sitting there, and he was trying to take their photograph, but they would not look. They were being, every time he got ready and lined up, they put the head under their wing or turn the wrong way. It's really funny. But there we go. So there is our flower. It's quite pale, which I rather like. It doesn't always have to be really bright, but there is that. And we're going to do the centre part now. I had thought I was going to do it black, but I think that might be a bit harsh with the flower being so pale. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do it a grey rather than a black. I'm going to try the Cold Grey 6. Okay, and for this centre part I want this to look very rounded, so I'm thinking it's going to be darker here near the bottom. So I'm going to layer up a bit there. Like that, and then do less layers towards this sort of top bit, so hopefully it will help to give it a bit of shape. I'm just going to go over it a bit more. Maybe that'll work. We'll see how it works once I do the pods. I'm thinking I'll do those slightly lighter and see if it works. This is just a Cold Grey 5, so it's not significantly lighter, but just a little bit lighter. I'm not going to do much with that stem part, but for this bit I want it to look rounded, so I'm going to go around the edge and then reduce the layers towards the middle. I'm hoping it will look, they'll look quite almost spherical. I mean, they're not spheres, but I think you know what I mean. I'm not sure this colour is dark enough to show the effect I'm hoping for, so I may have to add a darker colour to it, but we'll see how it goes. We get them all done, sit back and have a little look, and then think about it. Might be able to use a little bit of Payne's grey for some shade and shadows. Round we go. Yeah, we saw, we also saw one duckling. We saw, I don't know what's going on with the ducklings. The first day I saw them there were 9 and mum. The next time I saw them there were 8 and mum. The next time I saw them there were 4 and no mum. Then the next time there were 2 and no mum, and yesterday just 1 and no mum. So I don't know what's happening with them all. But you know, there are, because there's houses around the area, there are lots of dogs, cats, things like that. You just don't know what's predating them. But that's nature, isn't it? Right, I've grabbed my Payne's grey to do some more shadow in this, in the centre sort of area. So I'm going to do a little darker bit where these pods are next to that central circular piece. I don't know, that I need to start learning, I think, the names of flower bits. Might be useful. Then where they overlap here, look, a little bit here and here, and maybe just around their edges a bit. Okay, I'm going to put a bit in here as well. Okay, now we have the leaves. I want to keep these quite pale as well, because we've not gone all out with brightness on this one. Now what goes with blue? I always think a sort of more bluey green goes better with blue, but yeah, let's do this because we've got a bluey green gemstone at the top, so let's do the earth green. It's more of a grey green. I think that might work. So like I did with the petals, I'm just going to do this a layer all over, and then I'm going to grab another colour. Now these spots are worrying me Why are the leaves spotty? What are we going to do with those? Are they holes? Has the little animal chewed them? They don't usually make a hole like that, do they? They would nibble at the edge, maybe? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know whether to colour them or leave them. I'll have a think as I go. I think we'll get the main colouring done and then think about it at the end. That might be the best way to go. So this is just, as I say, an initial light layer. There we go. And then I find the juniper green actually works really well together with that green. I like them together. So I'm going to sharpen this. Okay. Now, this tip I want to make darker like that. And I'm thinking maybe all of the edge a little bit darker. Just pull that colour in a bit to the middle. We can blend it with the lighter colour in a minute. Like that. We'll just do that all the way around. The key is to layer it up more right on the edge and then do less layers towards the middle, and then you'll find it's already blending into that earth green colour. Here I want a bit more of a defined sort of shadow. And then we'll do the same with this one. It's quite cloudy today, which is nice. So I'm going out later, which is why I've started recording early in the morning today. And yeah, it'll be a bit cooler and less risk of sunburn. I won't need to worry about taking a hat. There we go. So back to our earth green. Just going to sharpen that actually. And I'm going to go over the top of the darker areas with this as well, just to help it mix in together. With Polychromos, it's all about layering. And if you go over the darker area, it can actually, even with the lighter pencil, it can actually make it look darker, which sounds a bit weird, but it pushes it into the tooth of the paper a bit more. But if you feel that it's taken away from the dark areas, you can always put another bit of the juniper green on top afterwards. But I think this is okay. I've decided what I'm going to do with the little spots. Now often when I do this colour combo, I put a little bit of burnt carmine or Indian red, something like that with it, because I think it works quite well. So I think we'll put a dash of that colour on top of those circles. I don't really know how it'll look, but I think it'll. I think we can't just ignore them. There we go. So what should we use? Actually, we'll use the caput mortuum, I think. That works quite well for this. I'll show you. Just sharpen. There it is, caput mortuum. Now on the ends of these leaves we've got dots, which I've just noticed. You could decide to put white on those, but I think it will just get lost because of the very light colour that we've used. I am going to use a little bit of white pen on here but not on those dots. I think I'm just going to leave them black. I think they're more effective black than they would be white. As I say, I think a white pen would just erase them. There we are. I'm not sure, I'm still not sure about those dots, but you know. Anyway. I'm going to use my Jelly Roll 8 because I don't want my 10, it's a bit big. And what I'm going to do is I want a bit of shine on these. It's actually been drawn on for us in black, so I can just go over the top of it with my white. And I think it will just emphasise there, make them look a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go. Okay, so there is our flower. As I say, it's quite unusual for me to do one so pale, and that's rather fun, to do it a little bit differently. You might want to make the leaves and petal a little bit more of a, actually we can do that. Use the Payne's grey to put more of a shadow in here, because that petal is above the leaf, so there'd be a sort of shadow there and here, and the shadows along here, which we did do with the green, but I think this darker colour might just be better. There we are. It's just a tiny bit, but I think it makes a difference, but that's up to you. Anyway, that is me done for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a super day and happy colouring.